Guess who got a second cat? I did! Which means I'm one cat closer to being a crazy cat lady. Now, this video is way overdue. I actually adopted my second cat in August, but hesitated to make this video because for whatever reason, I could not come up with a name for her, and I didn't want to make the video until I had a name. So after about 2 months of Googling cat names, I was like, okay, enough is enough. I just need to pick one. So I did, and I picked, drumroll please, Sophie! Yes, it took me 2 months to come up with one of the most basic and popular names there is. Sophie. And y'all wonder why I don't have kids. But anyways, yes, everybody welcome Sophie! So I knew when I got Nyla that I was going to get a second cat. I just didn't know when. After we got Nyla, like my life was just super busy. Finally in August, I had nothing going on, which meant I would have time to help a new cat adjust to our house. So that's when I woke up one day and said this. I think today's a good day to get another cat. Let's go. So I got in my car and headed to the nearest shelter, and I was expecting to see just an overabundance of cats because it was kitten season, and everybody always talks about how a lot of the adult cats get left behind because everybody is adopting kittens. So imagine my surprise when I walk in and see 2 adult cats that are ready for adoption. That's right. 2. All the others were kittens, or they were cats that weren't ready to go home yet, and I wanted to take one home that day. So the 2 were both calicos, and one of them was 10 years old and the other was 3 years old. Now on the 10-year-old's card it said cannot live with other cats, must be the only cat in the household. So that was a no. So that left me with the 3-year-old. According to her card, she had been adopted before but was returned after 5 days due to urinating outside of the litter box, scratching up all of their furniture, and not allowing them to pet her. She was so shy and so terrified. She kept running away from me and hiding, and I literally could not get within 5 feet of her. She was terrified. Now I had gone in hoping to get a friendly, cuddly cat because Nyla isn't always the most affectionate, so I wanted a cat that was a little more on the affectionate side. But I felt so bad for this girl, and I knew that most people were not going to want to adopt a cat that pees outside of the litter box and scratches up furniture, and I knew that all of her behavioral issues were probably just because her last family stressed her out and didn't give her enough time to adjust to a new setting, and she was going to need somebody who understood cats and wasn't just going to return her when things got difficult. And turns out that somebody was going to be me. Well, I got the scared one. She sounds like she's gonna be a little bit of a challenge, but good thing I love a challenge when it comes to kitties. You'll be fine. So we gotta go to Petco to get some stuff, and then to your new home, yay! She's like, oh my God, what? I'm trying to get you guys to see her. She's like, what am I going home to? It'll be fun. You just have to hear me yell at, you know, myself in videos. It'll be fine. She apparently had a litter, but she's fixed now, so no more babies. But you're getting a sister! Woo! And poor Nyla has no idea. Yay! The room that I'm in right now was actually empty at the time, so we just brought her in here and set it up so that she could be away from Nyla. Welcome to your new home! Hi! She's like, what is this? Who are these people? From the moment I walked in the front door with her, Nyla was very eager to see what was going on. Nyla would just park herself on the other side of this door and just try to stick her paws under, try to get in. She wanted to be in here so bad. Every time I opened the door to leave, Nyla was right there. So Sophie, of course, was absolutely terrified when she first came into this room, and she just would not move a muscle. She wouldn't leave the box she was in. She wouldn't eat. She wouldn't use the litter box. She wouldn't play. She wouldn't groom herself. She wouldn't scratch on anything. She just sat completely still like a statue and only moved when we slept. So I'm in here writing scripts right now. Unnamed kitty is still in her box, still hasn't eaten, still hasn't used the litter. She's just not feeling it. She has let me pet her, but she definitely is scared and timid, and like I said, she does not come out of this box. She keeps sniffing at the food, so I know there's interest. She just won't eat it. It doesn't matter if I leave the room, like she just is ignoring it completely. So not long after this, I took her to the vet just to make sure that it wasn't health problems that was causing her to not eat and use the litter box. I was pretty sure it was just because she was stressed, but I wanted to double check. Is it scary? Yeah. I know. You can go back in. It's fine. Scary stuff. Uh-oh. She has a very high-pitched meow. I know, it's okay. But honestly, I'm surprised she got out of the carrier and explored. She doesn't do this at my house. But she's scared. I know. At the vet, they told me she had likely been abused and pointed out that she especially was very afraid of people putting their hand near her neck, and she would turn away if you got anywhere close to it. They felt so bad for her. They kept saying how sorry they felt for her and how sad it was to see her like this, but they did say that she was healthy. They then recommended that I try pheromone on crack. Lastly, they mentioned that maybe she just needed a friend and that maybe I didn't need to wait to let her meet Nyla, and that meeting her might help her come out of her shell. So then I brought her back home and bought all kinds of calming items. Calming collar, bam. Calming diffuser, bam. Calming treats, bam. Calming cat music, bam. I brought a t-shirt in here of mine so she could start to get used to my smell. I laid low on the ground to her level when I was in here. I tried bribing her with food, but she was not budging. This girl was absolutely terrified and would not move from her box. I really hope she warms up soon, because it's sad to see her just stay in this little cardboard box when there's like so many windows in this house she could be looking out of, toys to play with, and all of that. She's like just confined in this one little spot when there's so much for her to enjoy. So finally I did the last thing the vet suggested, and I let Nyla in. Actually, it was more of Nyla barged in when I barely cracked the door open, but whatever. And I wish I had been recording. It happened so fast because, like I said, Nyla just kind of burst in through the door. But it was like as soon as Nyla was in here, Sophie started coming out of the box to smell Nyla, and she started meowing at her, and it was so cute. Sophie showed zero fear about Nyla and was very interested in her. And like the vet said, after they met each other, Sophie started opening up a lot more. She was still absolutely terrified, but I started seeing these baby steps roll along a little faster. This is the first time she's eaten in front of me.
She has never felt comfortable enough to eat around me, but I could tell she was hungry. And so I just kind of sat in here and waited. Good job. Good girl. So at this point, I've only seen her groom herself once, and it was very quick. It was like, lick, lick, done. This is the first time she's eaten in front of me. I have not seen her drink out of the water yet. She sleeps in front of me pretty often, but yes, it's the first time she's eaten in front of me. So, baby steps.
I then thought back to when we first got Nyla. So when we first got Nyla, I put her in our laundry room by herself away from us. I realized very quickly that was a bad idea because she somehow, even though I blocked it off, she somehow got behind the dryer. Whatever, I got her out, and then I decided, okay, you are not staying in the laundry room. So I brought out what I call the house, which is just a huge cat carrier, and put Nyla in it and put her in the living room so that she could get familiar with our scents and our movements and our voices and everything. And Nyla came out of her shell very quickly when that happened. So I decided to do the same with Sophie. I brought the house into the room, and pretty immediately she took to it. Well, well, well. Is that the Mickey toy you have? Were you playing? I think so, because this was over here. I see you warming up to us. She's like, there's nothing to see here. I wasn't playing. Definitely not. I'm on to you. I'm on to you. And then I decided to bring her out into the living room. In the living room, we put on like cat TV with birds chirping and all that. And it actually piqued her interest quite a bit. She was still too afraid to come out, but she was showing interest in something, which was really exciting. Then one day my mom was like, why don't you move the house over by the sliding glass doors, which overlooks our backyard, which has lots of flowers, birds, all that, lots of things for her to see. So I did that, and not long after, this happened. So soon after this, Sophie started roaming the house a little more. She was still hiding though, and every morning I found her under my recliner. So we started to barricade that off so she couldn't get into it, but she still somehow found a way. Like, I swear I had so many pieces of furniture blocking off every nook and cranny with towels, and she still found a way under. And then she started going under my mom's chair, so we did the same thing with that. Finally, we got it to where she couldn't go under. I wanted her to gain more confidence and minimize the areas that she could hide where it would be difficult for us to retrieve her. And slowly but surely, she started sitting on top of our furniture instead of under it. She also slowly started to do normal cat behaviors, and I got so excited each time I saw one. She started playing, she started using the scratching post, coming to me for snacks, but I think one of the biggest milestones for me was this. About to blow dry my hair, and I looked over and saw this. This is the first time she's gone on my bed, and I'm afraid to speak or move because it doesn't take much to scare her. Hi. So I was very excited when she jumped on my bed for the first time, and even more excited when she did this. She walked to the edge of the bed and sat on my feet. She jumped down not long after I took this video, but a win is a win.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say, a win is a win.
It was a very long process, full of very tiny baby steps, but slowly she started to become more comfortable. And I can't help but think that her first family really had no idea what they were doing with her, because she has never tried to scratch my furniture. She's only gone out of the litter box twice, and both times were my fault. I moved things too fast and she got stressed out. Since then, she's never gone outside the litter box. Now, as for petting, that's still a tricky one. So once Sophie started getting comfortable enough to leave like her little carriers and roam around the house, she no longer just sat there and let me pet her. She started running off. And sometimes all it took was us making eye contact and she would just bolt away. So I started trying to use food as a way to get close to her. I would try to pet her while she was distracted with eating. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But over time, I noticed it was starting to work more and more. Sometimes she even seemed to like it. Guess who just purred for the first time while I was scratching her head?
Does that feel nice?
I also noticed she was becoming more accepting of having her neck be touched. Now, she would still pull away sometimes, but I eventually got her comfortable enough where I could pet her even when she wasn't eating. So where are we now? So it's been 4 months since I've brought her home, and she has gotten so much more comfortable. She's now starting to claim our furniture as hers and leaves cat hair everywhere. Her favorite spots are up on this cat tree, my recliner, both on the seat and on the top, my mom's chair, my mom's bed, and recently she has been more interested in my desk chair. Now, while she's completely comfortable with our furniture, she hasn't 100% warmed up to us yet. I am the only person that can pet her, but even that is hit or miss. Sometimes she likes it, sometimes she runs away, and sometimes she's not sure if she likes it or if she wants to run away. She has never cuddled with us. She doesn't really rub up against us much either. She rubs up against Nyla, but not us, and I have never even dared to try to pick her up. I already know that won't go well. But she sure has no problem coming into my room and jumping on my bed when I'm trying to eat something. She's turned into a foodie, guys. Sophie has broken into donuts. Just the other day, she grabbed hot dog buns off the counter and stole those, and I'm just like, oh. She always comes into my room when I have something and just looks at me like this. So yeah, she's a bit of a food addict. So now what everybody's been asking me, how does she get along with Nyla? Well, she loves Nyla. Nyla, however, isn't always as nice to Sophie. I mean, Nyla does like Sophie, but we've definitely noticed Nyla has a little bit of jealousy issues sometimes. If Sophie's playing with a toy, Nyla has to steal the one that Sophie's playing with. If I try to take a picture of Sophie, Nyla will all of a sudden get up and walk towards me and kind of meow, so she wants a picture too. If you pet Sophie, you have to pet Nyla. Nyla was never really that crazy about food before we got Sophie, but now that we have Sophie, Nyla wants all the food to herself. And that was actually one of the problems we had for a while, because Nyla was always trying to steal Sophie's. But Sophie learned that she had to stand up for herself, and she doesn't let Nyla steal her food anymore, and sometimes she tries to steal Nyla's food. But even with that, I still think she's happier with Sophie. She loves having a playmate, and I've noticed that like if we go somewhere for the day and come back, Nyla isn't as whiny as she was before when she was just left home alone. But Nyla's all about play, so she's always chasing Sophie. Sophie just walks by and Nyla goes, "Bap!" And I'm just like, girl. Sophie will try to cuddle with her and groom her, but Nyla just won't allow it. But Sophie is learning to stand up for herself, and sometimes Sophie is the one that sees Nyla walking by and goes, "Bap!" Overall though, Sophie is just so chill. She handles Nyla's endless energy very well and does not seem to be bothered by Nyla just always up in her face. There are occasional times where Sophie will hiss at her and swat at her, but for the most part, she does not mind Nyla just being Nyla. I'm hoping one day they will at least cuddle together so I can get a cute little picture of them together, but so far, no. The most I get is them sitting right next to each other. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. All in all, I'm really happy with Sophie's progress. She still has a way to go in terms of trusting humans, but she has come a very long way from when we first got her. Like, it's crazy to see her run to the kitchen and she's begging for food, and she'll be up on like her back two legs, when beforehand, like, I would literally put a huge thing of food in front of her and she just wouldn't move. And it wasn't easy, let me tell you. There were many times that I cried because I was like, why does she hate me so much? But it's been really rewarding to see her grow, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel kind of special that I am the only human that she will let pet her. She doesn't always let me pet her, but I am the only one. Personality-wise, I think she still hasn't 100% shown us her personality yet, but she is very sweet, very quiet for the most part. But she's starting to get a little mischievous. Because she's so quiet, she's allowed to be so sneaky about it, and I don't even realize she did it until it's done. She also can open doors, like she's broken into our closets and our cupboards a handful of times. And like I mentioned, she wants food all the time, so she steals food from us. And I'm excited to see her progress even further. I'm still waiting for her to cuddle me and to like come towards me wanting to be pet. We aren't there yet, but at least I am able to pet her for the most part. It's just been a very, very slow process because this poor girl, I don't know what she went through before I got her, but it was clearly a lot. So I'm glad that she's in a much happier place now. And yeah, thank you all for watching.